Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where we talk about a pay-per-view so important that Stephanie McMahon can miss it. It's Lost to the Midcard. We are back. Well, kind of back. I mean, we were gone for like a week and a half. That was all. I am back from moving and vacation, and so it's good to be back on a normal schedule. I'm mostly caught up on wrestling, basically everything but 205 Live. I caught up on Ring of Honor last night to get ready for the 15th anniversary pay-per-view on Friday, and I caught up on NXT today ahead of tonight's show of NXT. So I'm all ready to go. We'll talk Fastlane briefly because
do we have to?
Well, I said briefly. Briefly, it will be. Yeah, like I said, Stephanie McMahon wasn't even there, so that's how important it was. As always, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. All you got to do is search for Lost in the Midcard, hit that subscribe button, and that way you know each and every time a new episode comes your way, typically every Thursday, and also Mondays after a WWE pay-per-view, which the next one is now WrestleMania. We're also subscribable on the YouTube, and you can find those links on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. Go to the notes section, and voila, there they are. We're also on the Twitter. We share a lot of great stuff from the wrestling world. Actually, Matt does that. Does a great job with that at LITMC Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JBHuskers. My co-host, as always, on that Twitter at Raw F Showtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
I'm unfortunately neck deep in the Vince McMahon revenge tour, and I'm not in the best of moods.
By God. Well, we agree on a lot of it, but we do disagree on a little bit of it. We'll get into that once we get to Smackdown and Raw later on in the show. But let's get some headlines. It is official. We had Matt and I had a great talk on the last episode early last week about the Hardy Boys officially leaving TNA, and now we know where they're going. Well, it's not really much of a surprise
for now.
Yeah, for now. We know where they're going.
I think a month from now we might be talking about something very different.
Yeah, we're talking a 3-week contract, kids. I'm hearing it's super short. Your new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, the Broken Hardys, and Matt and Jeff have signed with Ring of Honor for the short term. They will compete in the 15th anniversary show. Originally, it was supposed to be the Bucks and Roppongi Vice in a Vegas street fight. Now it's a triple threat Vegas street fight, and I cannot wait for that. That's going to be amazing. Basically, the deal is done. So the Hardys will appear there in Supercard of Honor. And then after that, who knows?
I'm hearing their contract goes to the event WrestleMania weekend, like April 1st or 2nd or whatever the hell it is.
1st, because 2nd's WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I'm hearing it's no further than that. I even tried to jokingly tweet at Ring of Honor because they have a television taping in Baltimore on the 8th.
Oh yeah.
And I tweeted him, I'm like, are Bully Ray and the Hardys going to be in Baltimore? And no response. So, I'm hearing Bully Ray will be.
Bully Ray sounds
but I'm hearing the Hardys are very doubtful at the moment.
Bully Ray was, we'll jump into that right now, too. Bully Ray showed up in the Manhattan show, right, where Fish took on Cole for the title. Is that right?
Yeah, the same show the Hardys showed up on. It was a huge shot in the arm that I felt Ring of Honor desperately needed to get their name back in the conversation within the wrestling industry again. And bravo to them for being able to keep it all under wraps and keep it secret for them to not only be able to bring in the Hardys but Bully Ray as well and hit 2 surprises out of the park in one evening. Nothing but respect to the ROH locker room and their management for keeping that kind of stuff under wraps.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it made for a phenomenal surprise. Even not watching it, just seeing the excitable tweets on the timeline of people that were in attendance.
Yeah.
And in the wrestling discussion that it sparked online was fantastic. And I've said it on the show several times. I said it on social media all the time. One of the best aspects about professional wrestling is the ability for the company to actually surprise you, and for not everything to be so fucking predictable. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, Ring of Honor. I thought they had a great pay-per-view at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I felt though for the most part for the last 6 months their television program's kind of been treading water. But I feel the acquisition of Bully Ray and the Hardys for the short term definitely got people talking about Ring of Honor again, and that's a good thing. And hopefully they can capitalize on this momentum and take it places in the weeks and months to come.
Bully Ray did comment this week saying this is not just a one-time song and dance. He's going to be with Ring of Honor for the foreseeable future. So that's some great news. Bully Ray is definitely a main eventer. Would be somebody cool to see clash with the Bullet Club for sure. And Bully Ray took to Twitter at BullyRay5150 with a great tweet, taking a picture, posting with Matt and Jeff, saying, "Still the talk of the wrestling biz. Now that's how you make a delightful impact." Oh, was he digging at somebody there, Matt?
You damn well know he was, because he was hours away from signing a television contract to rejoin Impact. And went with Ring of Honor instead. And honestly, I think long term, I think he made the goal. But time will tell.
What was that?
Lots of things going.
Glitched out there.
I think long term, Bully Ray made the right decision.
Yeah.
But time will tell. Things are definitely looking interesting on the Impact Wrestling front right now as well. So,
well, hopefully, if he does come, I'm sure down the road he'll come back to WWE, and hopefully it is as Bully Ray, for the love of God, because I mean the Dudleys. It was great to see them back, but it was outdated and not as good as it should have been.
What do you mean, pal?
Yeah, Vince. No.
Fuck you.
No kidding. All right. Well, there is a lot of stuff to talk about in regards to Impact Wrestling. Of course, the big news, probably, I don't know if this was Plan B, but they made a big push last second to get Alberto El Patron into TNA. And he showed up, of course.
This was most certainly done last minute.
Yeah, TNA has lost Drew Galloway, the Hardys, just in a matter of weeks, and
they actually they reached out to Alberto Wednesday night after the deal with Bully Ray fell through.
And they taped on Thursday?
Yes.
Wow.
They got it. They got the deal done in less than a day. Dude, think about this. Within 4 days, 3 different people were scheduled to beat Lashley for the Impact Championship. It was originally going to be Drew Galloway, and then it was going to be Bully, and then they went with Del Rio. 3 people in the course of a week were planned for the same spot, and they couldn't get 2 out of 3 of them.
Is Nordholm, is he part of Anthem?
Nordholm is the president of TNA Wrestling and a very high-ranking executive with Anthem Media.
He tweeted out the photo of him in the ring with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people in TNA weren't happy about that.
I bet not. Interesting
fact. They went through great lengths to keep him a secret. Like, they brought him into the arena, like, quietly. Like, they were keeping him away from people so the news of him being there wouldn't get out. And of all the people who leaked it, it was the fucking president of the company sending out a tweet on Twitter.
Yeah.
Good job, Ed.
Great job.
Love to have
Ed.
you on the podcast.
As we mentioned, El Patron defeated Bobby Lashley to win the TNA Championship. Did he vacate it the next day or something weird, like saying he didn't want to win it like that? Or
there's conflicting stories of why the title's back with Lashley. One story was said that Del Rio didn't want to win the title in the fashion that he won it, so he gave it back. Another story is there was quote unquote politics backstage that canceled the result of the match and put the title back on Lashley. That's why I'm not even worried about talking about this as a spoiler.
No.
Because, Alberto wins the title tomorrow night on Impact, or tonight, based on when you're listening to this. And by the following week, the title's just going to be back on Lashley again. So it's really not that big of a spoiler, because
let's see how they spin that.
Doesn't even last.
Let's see how they spin that. John Gaburek, when he was running TNA Creative, John Gaburek wanted to bring in Alberto and have him win the title in the first night, but they never came to terms. Very interesting that under the new regime, as Mike Johnson had noted on PW Insider, that they did that. But yeah, we'll see how they spin that. That's some very weird shit. And of course, if you're wondering, yes, Paige was backstage for the Impact tapings as well.
I'm sure WWE was thrilled.
Yeah, so we'll find out over the next couple weeks what the hell's going on with the title, and let you know possibly on next week's Lost in the Midcard. Ed Nordholm is definitely a Twitter star lately. He also let known that ODB was back in the Impact Wrestling tapings, and as well as Rachel Ellering, the daughter of Paul Ellering, your manager of the Authors of Pain. They were backstage. Also backstage, a TNA veteran, one of my favorites from back in the day with LAX, Homicide, was backstage as well. The TNA Tag Team Championship belts were backstage too, so I think Mike Johnson jokingly said, "I assumed Vanguard 1 carried them from Cameron, North Carolina to return to TNA management."
Not according to Matt Hardy.
Oh boy, what did Matt say about it?
Matt Hardy stated on Twitter that if they had titles there, that they were children's replica titles, and that the fate of the real TNA Tag Team titles that are still in their possession would be revealed in time.
Very interesting.
So they're probably what they had. If Matt is to be believed, the tag titles that they were using on the 4-day span of the tapings from Thursday through Sunday were just replica titles that were probably sold on ShopTNA.com.
That's funny. That is funny. TNA also announced that they have a UK TV deal, which starts on April 21st. And, of course, they unveiled a new logo, which, interestingly enough, has a lot of Global Force Wrestling colors in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Moose is going to be working for Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan. He's going to be taking on the Great Muta, so that's pretty cool. That Moose will get in the ring with a legend when he goes to Japan. Now, I haven't watched Impact much lately. I don't know if you've been DVRing it, but how has Josh Barnett looked in the ring?
I've only seen bits and clips. I didn't see a full match of his.
Yeah, I just got to.
And I'm pretty sure it was just like a one-shot deal. I don't think he's around for this new regime.
Speaking of people bailing from TNA, we can report, according to Mike Johnson for PW Insider as well, Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis-Bennett have departed TNA after just a couple of years with the company. That kind of came out of nowhere, Matt. When he arrived in TNA, he was definitely made out to be a big deal. Back to Ring of Honor?
They didn't leave Ring of Honor on the best of terms, dude, so I don't know what's up with them.
No. Mike Bennett's a great talent, though. Maria killed the Knockouts division. But Mike's a great talent, so hopefully I would mind.
Maria kills anything she touches.
True, except for Mike Bennett. She hasn't killed him yet.
Well, she's probably killed any shot he has to go into WWE.
Yeah.
Here's something funny. As I mentioned, I mentioned earlier in the show that I tweeted Ring of Honor asking if the Hardys were going to be at the Baltimore TV taping.
Yeah.
Reby Hardy sent out a tweet a few minutes ago. Everyone and their moms out there thinking they're slick, asking about dates with 1,000,000+1 excuses as to why. Come on now, we ain't dumb.
Yeah, man. She's not dumb. Come on. Dummy, yeah.
No, I didn't ask them. I'm not that stupid.
Yeah.
I went straight to the source and asked Ring of Honor, and of course, on the record, they don't have anything to tell me. And as I said, from what I've heard from people that I've spoken to, it's a very short-term deal. I mean, look, for all we know, something could go down between now and WrestleMania weekend, and whatever they're negotiating with WWE could fall through, and they could end up signing a long-term Ring of Honor deal. I mean, all that stuff's is legitimately in the cards.
Honestly, neither option.
So I mean, we'll see.
Honestly, neither option sucks.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll see what happens in the weeks to come. It's definitely going to be something very interesting to keep an eye out and follow, because I mean, it could literally go either way. Mm-hmm. And if the Hardys decide to stay in Ring of Honor, you can bet your bottom dollar we'll see the Broken Hardys in New Japan facing the Bullet Club before the year's over.
Oh yeah.
So,
as for Mike Bennett, I don't know. I would not hate it if they did patch things up with Ring of Honor and he creates his own kingdom to feud with Matt Taven's kingdom. I think that would be kind of a cool concept for a feud. Because Matt Taven's kingdom's been awesome. I mean, obviously, they handed them the 6-man tag titles. So
his best bet would be to work something out with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Everything tells me if he returns to ROH, it won't be with Maria.
Yeah. I mean, she's not really needed in that company. And congrats to Matt Taven in Manhattan for winning the Battle Royal. Matt Taven will get to have a future World Championship shot, and hopefully it's against Christopher Daniels. Just my personal opinion. The floodgates of people falling out of TNA continues. They have lost yet another. Jade, who has been with the company since 2015. She is no longer with TNA. Hello, WWE. Got a women's tournament coming up. Sign her.
Seems like a no-brainer.
Obviously, Jade started out with the Dollhouse with Taryn Terrell and Marty Bell. She was feuding with Rosemary for the Knockouts Championship as early as last week, I believe. So, I think WWE or NXT or anybody there would be dumb not to hire her.
You ain't lying.
More stuff for Mike Johnson. He has confirmed that it is not just going to be WrestleMania 33 for Kurt Angle's return. He is scheduled to appear at the Raw and Smackdown tapings after WrestleMania, also in Orlando, Florida. No idea what his role may be for those shows. In regards to Raw, I mean, it fits in almost perfect, Matt, that Mick Foley's got to leave and have surgery. Kurt Angle and Stephanie, I think, would be complete gold with Kurt Angle being the GM. That's just my 2 cents, but I guess it remains to be seen, doesn't it?
I mean, it completely makes sense. I keep hearing Sting's name being bounced around.
That'd be awesome, too.
As doing something with the company post-WrestleMania in a non-wrestling role. Other than that, I don't know much more, but I mean, we talked just a couple weeks ago. We both had Sting as number one on our list.
Yep.
Of, the best choice for a potential new general manager. So, if they're gonna go that route, I mean, that would be cool. I mean, Kurt Angle would be cool as well. Maybe they have Sting. Maybe they have Sting as like a backup plan if things with Kurt don't work out. I don't know. I just know Sting's definitely being talked right now in the creative process for a non-wrestling role post WrestleMania.
Do you think Daniel
hopefully
Bryan,
we'll hear more about that between now and WrestleMania itself?
Do you think Daniel Bryan steps down once it's about baby time, or do you think he's just going to take a little time off?
That's a great question. I'm not sure when baby due. So
well, imagine this: you've got Sting GM in one show and Kurt Angle GM in another.
I would be totally okay with that.
Have Sting. I would honestly put Kurt Angle with Stephanie because those guys were great in the Attitude Era.
And if you listen to Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack Tuesday night, he still seems like he's dead set on wrestling when his WWE contract comes up. So,
God, imagine if you see. Oh man, could you imagine Bryan Danielson returning to Ring of Honor?
I very much could imagine it.
Oh,
so, I don't think it's in the best. Like in his best interest for his health.
One doctor says good. One doctor says good, while the WWE guys say no. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I would want him to be very careful and to very heavily consider those options. Because to me, if WWE is going to make you an employee for life and do things like he's doing now, I think it would be dumb of him to risk his long-term health with a wife and a baby to entertain us in Ring of Honor. And don't get me wrong, I would love to see Bryan Danielson, whatever he would be called, in a wrestling ring again. But, just the thought of, one more concussion could spell disaster for him. It's weird to think about, man.
I mean, you and I can't tell, right, from our perspectives, but it almost seems like Daniel Bryan's enjoying what he's doing right now.
I would hope so.
It seems like he's enjoying it, so. WWE
I haven't heard that he hates it. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, that's true. WWE has announced that they will be releasing a DVD devoted to Kevin Owens. It's going to be called Fight Owens Fight: The Kevin Owens Story. It'll be coming out on DVD this July. So if you're a big Kevin Owens fan, and I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of talk of his career leading up to NXT even. So probably going to be a pretty cool DVD to get there. We got an update on Glow Wrestling, the fictional series based on the 80s promotion of women's wrestling. That will be debuting on June 23rd on Netflix, and all of the first season episodes will be available at that time. So if you want to check that out. Netflix is also adding a 2012 documentary called Glow, the Story of the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. That will be added at the end of this month, so to get you ready for the show there. So
I'll tell you what, I am not overly pumped by the preview trailers that they've put up so far.
Really, I haven't seen.
I really hope it's better than the teaser stuff that they're putting out. Because as of right now, to me, it doesn't look very good.
Cheesy and poor.
It looks really. I mean, to call a spade. Glow in the 80s was cheesy.
Yeah.
But I feel like you need to kind of modernize it for 2017, and I don't really know how this is going to go over with the overall pro wrestling audience. I think it'll be very interesting to see how this all turns out.
One of the hottest free agents on the market right now, Drew Galloway, was interviewed by the Scottish Sun. Rise up! He was interviewed by the Scottish Sun, discussing about his decision not to sign a new TNA contract, and the company tried to lock him in too close to the previous contract ending. He told the newspaper, "They came to me last week with an offer, and it was a very good one of the best in the company, and a position as a top guy, but the reality is they waited until the last second. I had to turn it down. Everything was so last minute, I had think about backup plans in my family because it went to the wire. I was surprised I got no heads up beforehand when they got in touch with me last week. They wouldn't accept no for an answer, and the financial offer was so great. It was a very hard decision to make. If all of this was said 3 weeks ago, I would have signed. Well, Matt.
Well, same situation with the Hardys.
Yep.
It's almost identical. They forced a last-minute contract on them. Clearly, while Drew's taking the high road of saying it was a great contract, clearly there were some terms in that contract that he didn't like, just like the Hardys didn't like, and there was no time between then and Thursday to get these things fixed. And Anthem pretty much gave them a take it or leave it mentality, and they all decided to leave it.
Well, Drew Galloway is no longer with TNA. Maybe, it's not called TNA anymore, but we're probably going to call it TNA still because it's easier.
I'm going to call it TNA until they've proven themselves to be otherwise.
So they could replace Drew Galloway with a guy named Jack Swagger, possibly. Jack Swagger has requested his release from the WWE. There are conflicting reports on if it's been granted yet. I think they are just making him sit, and paying him to sit for now is probably what is going on. But it's interesting. His old manager, Zeb Coulter, is now head of creative for TNA. So I think you could probably mark Swagger down as heading to Impact Wrestling sometime down the road. Former world champion. Biggest push was in 2009 when he cashed in the Money in the Bank and won the world title. Was arrested in 2013 for DUI and possession of marijuana. Never really got off the ground from there. He was used sparingly as a trial, I think, for a new personality or gimmick or something last fall. That didn't go over well, so he disappeared. So Jack Swagger, a great talent. So I think Impact would be ridiculous not to sign him, especially with the subculture working creative there. It has been announced that Swagger's going to be working for WAW in Great Britain. That'll be actually this weekend, and that is the promotion that is owned by Paige's family. And so he's already got himself a match lined up, and it's none other than Alberto El Patron. Go figure. Pretty cool tribute Cesaro put on Twitter on March 3rd. Thanks, Big Haas. # We the People. Of course, a great team, I thought, with the Real Americans. I thought Cesaro and Swagger. It was a great rebound for Swagger. Post his world championship run. Matt, did you enjoy some Real Americans?
It was all right.
Jim Ross took to Twitter and said, "Good luck to all my friends working in Orlando for Impact Wrestling. Expecting many changes and perhaps a different soundtrack." And Jim Ross is firing up the tease train. Anything to this one, Matt?
Yeah, Jeremy Borash joins the Impact Wrestling announce team as of tomorrow's episode. And I'm just going to spoil it because I think it's fantastic news for TNA as a whole. This is leading to a match several weeks down the line between a 4-on-4 match, 4 people chose by Josh Matthews against 4 people chose by Jeremy Borash. And if Borash's team wins, Matthews is out of the commentating team. And I'll leave it to your imagination to find out what happens. But if you think that I think it's a good thing, I think you know whose team won.
And somebody released a great GIF. It might have been Matt who released it, of Cody Rhodes throwing Douche Matthews like a javelin.
I didn't release it, but I sure as fuck retweeted the shit out of it.
That might be GIF of the year right there. That was amazing. But Jim Ross teasing that he's going to go to Impact. Come on,
I don't think that's going to happen. I think there might be a working relationship there, but I can't see Jim Ross signing with Impact. I really can't.
Ratings for the week. Impact Wrestling rebounded from a pretty poor 275,000 just to under 300,000 at 293. Be very interesting to see where they end up this week. If it's a little higher, or if it's going to take a couple of weeks for word of mouth to say, oh, hey, TNA is a little better now that the shit creative is gone. Raw rebounded slightly to 3.21 million this week. But that dreaded third-hour drop-off, they lost.
Look, everybody found out Roman Reigns was closing the show, and everybody tuned out.
400.
It's as simple as that.
Almost 500,000 people tuned out.
Yeah, because dude, hour 2 was higher than hour 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did that segment close. It was close to the end of hour 2, or right at the beginning of hour 3, where they interviewed Roman, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll be out in the ring at the end of the show for Braun Strowman," and everybody tuned out.
Click.
Dude, you lost like 500,000 people when you told everybody that Roman Reigns was closing your show. What else kind of evidence do you need at this point that the Roman Reigns experiment it isn't working? And I feel like they're on the cusp of changing him and admitting to that. And I'm sure we'll be talking about that later on in the show. So,
will he be known as Leaky? Okay, I guess not. And across the board, ratings are up for wrestling. I guess WrestleMania kind of gets some people back into it. Smackdown also rebounded to 2.7 million for this week. The on again, off again, back and forth talk between Shaq and the WWE. Now it seems like it's on again. Shaquille O'Neal mentioned just earlier this week that he has talked to someone high up in the organization, and we're back to talking again. I just want to let the people know it had nothing to do with me, despite what you have heard.
It had everything to do with him, pal.
Yeah. I think the Big Show cut like a long interview, but I think it was more of a promo than an interview. He's basically saying, I'm in such great shape that Shaq's afraid now. So I think he kind of knows in the back of his mind that this is probably going to get done.
To me, I think Big Show and WWE went into business for themselves and decided, well, if he's not going to do this, we need to start punking him out in the media right now. Mm-hmm. And they started, going on the attack, and I don't blame them a bit, because I think that's exactly what you need to do. If you had a deal in place with this dude at last year's WrestleMania, and then you ran the angle at the ESPYs over the summer for this all to go down, and now Big Show's opponent, Shaq's backing out, be it money, be it creative, be it whatever. I don't blame WWE one bit for dragging Shaq out on the carpet and making him look like a jobber right now. So I think it puts part of what needed to be done in order to make this work.
The Hall of Fame class for the WWE, a great one for this year, continues to get better with a legend, a great, in Ravishing Rick Rude. That was announced this week. Officially announced. If you listen to this show, you know.
Weeks ago.
Yeah. Ricky Steamboat is going to induct Rick Rude, so that'll be pretty damn cool. Former Intercontinental Champion, World Class Champion, United States Champion. Overall, a great heel, and had a nice resurgence during the Attitude Era. And I believe he was the first guy to be on television on the same, or two different companies. It was the same night or 24 hours.
Same night.
Same night.
He was on a taped edition of Raw and a live edition of Nitro.
And he even showed up in ECW for a short amount of time. Also, he was the centerpiece of Paul Heyman's Dangerous Alliance in WCW. Matt, I know you're a child of the 80s of the WWE. What were your thoughts on Ravishing Rick Rude?
It's long overdue, dude.
Well,
legitimately one of the greatest heels that the WWF/WWE ever had. Mm-hmm. More than deserving. I wish he would have been inducted when he was alive. Mm-hmm. It's the whole mantra, better late than never. And I guess we have to stick with that term at this point. But I'm happy he's finally being acknowledged. I hear his family's going to be in there to accept the Hall of Fame induction, and hopefully it's a really good weekend for them. They definitely deserve to have, their dad or their husband or whoever's coming in to accept this award. They definitely deserve to have Rude's accomplishments finally acknowledged in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And a great reaction from the Chicago crowd when it was announced too on Monday Night Raw. So very cool. I can't wait to hear what Ricky Steamwood has to say on the Friday before WrestleMania.
This Hall of Fame class destroys last year's.
Yeah.
Like last year was like Sting in the Job Squad. This year it's a really good top to bottom Hall of Fame class this year. And I think that's really great.
Yeah, I'm excited for all of it. There's not a single one that I'm not excited to hear from. For those who don't get Sinclair Broadcasting, but want to watch Ring of Honor on your television sets, there's a new way to do so. As the Comet TV channel, which is co-owned by Sinclair, is now available on Roku streaming devices. So if you have a Roku streaming device, if not, you can get one for fairly cheap, and are able to watch Ring of Honor television when they show it. So that's pretty good news for Ring of Honor. There, more people will be able to see it. In a weird twist, we announced on the last show that Kevin Kelly was leaving the Ring of Honor, but it was just announced yesterday that Ring of Honor has come to terms with Kevin Kelly to work the 15th anniversary pay-per-view, which is this Friday, as well as the television tapings the next night. Kevin Kelly and Ian Riccaboni will be handling the announcing for the 15th anniversary pay-per-view live from Las Vegas this Friday. We will shortly, actually we'll go into that right now. Ring of Honor television this week kicked off with six-man tag match for the Ring of Honor six-man tag titles. Kind of weird. Two heel teams going at it, but the Kingdom took on the Rebellion. I almost forgot the name again, Matt. The interesting part of this match, Caprice Coleman was. Actually, I'm sorry, Titus, excuse me, Jesus Christ. Rhett Titus got injured, and in a surprise move, Leo Rush took his place. So you're wondering if Leo Rush is joining the Rebellion, but no, he had a cutter on Kenny King like shortly after he joined the match to say F you to the Rebellion, and that all led to the Kingdom retaining their six-man tag titles. They had a top prospect tournament. Raphael King, he kind of reminds me of an Alex Riley kind of preppy type of gimmick. He even had a manager with him in his real life wife, Devin Nicole. So that made me think, oh, he's got a manager, he's gonna win. He's taking on the Kingpin, Brian Malonis, who is a big dude. But Brian Malonis got the win there to advance in the top prospect tournament. And the main event was amazing, as it should be. Ring of Honor versus the Bullet Club, basically. Cody Rhodes, the Bucks, and Adam Cole, baby, took on Jay Lethal, the Briscoes, and Bobby Fish. And the key part of this match was Bobby Fish got nailed by Jay Lethal when he was doing his suicide dive, and that led to the teammates brawling as that pissed off Bobby Fish, and that just left the Briscoes to fend for themselves against the Bullet Club, which they could not do. Of course, that sets up the match, Bobby Fish against Jay Lethal at the 15th anniversary show. After the match, Christopher Daniels, who was on commentary, made his way to the ring to face off with Adam Cole. And he was teasing that he was going to cut his hair like he did to Jay Lethal months ago. But instead, the Bullet Club comes in and starts beating up on Daniels. But then Frankie Kazarian makes the save, only to take off his shirt and reveal that he's got a Bullet Club t-shirt on. Cue Matt's groan.
Whatever.
You're not a fan of that one, are you?
You know I don't care.
It just doesn't make sense, but whatever.
Well, if Daniels doesn't win the title on Friday, just whatever.
Setting up to be a good show, though. 6 matches are on the card. This one's going to be pretty cool. The Briscoes and Bully Ray are going to take on War Machine and Davey Boy Smith Jr. That should be a fun one to watch.
One of these things is not like the other.
Who would that be? Ro?
You damn well know who.
6-man tag championships. The Kingdom will take on Dalton Castle and the boys. I fully expect the Kingdom to win this one, Matt.
Yeah, they're not gonna put the tag, dude. Unless they're already ready to make these tag titles a joke, they're not putting the fucking tag titles on the boys.
Yeah, the boys at a combined weight of 130.
Yeah, that's just no. They're like, unless they've already given up on this title division, they're not doing that.
I don't think they've given up on it either. So, Jay Lethal against Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish, fresh off his loss to Adam Cole, baby. Yeah, I see Jay Lethal winning this one since he signed a fat new contract, right, Matt?
You would certainly think so.
We're Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Roppongi Vice and the Bucks will challenge the champions, the Broken Hardys. What do you see happening here, Matt? Do you see the Bucks getting them back and to continue?
No, I see the Hardys retaining and then dropping into the Bucks on the WrestleMania weekend.
This will be a good one as well for the Ring of Honor World Television title. The villain Marty Scurll will take on Leo Rush. Any further updates on Leo Rush, Matt?
I hear he's done.
And Marty Scurll.
I hear Rush is done, and I hear Adam Cole's done as well. So
Marty Scurll has just been phenomenal in Ring of Honor as the television champion. The main event, Adam Cole against Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels won the Decade of Excellence tournament. In my heart, I definitely want Daniels to win. In my head, it's just basically if Adam Cole stays, he's got he keeps it. If he's going, Daniels wins. I don't know. I almost want to think either way Daniels wins, because I think they want to reward him for the years he's spent in Ring of Honor. He's never been a world champion anywhere he's been, so this will be his first world title. I honestly think Daniels is going to win regardless, but just like you said, Matt, Adam Cole has almost got one foot in NXT, so.
Yeah, I hear he's as good as gone. Unless something seriously falls through, Adam Cole will be in NXT by SummerSlam.
NXT tonight, good segue. Kicks off with the Perfect 10. He's taking on Eric Young from Sanity. Eric Young says to the other members of Sanity, go to the back, I got this. But before the match starts, they come back and they bring a beaten Roderick Strong. And Ty leaves the ring to check on Strong. And then No Way Jose also comes out. And then Dillinger and Jose decide to take on Sanity 4-on-2. That didn't go well for those two guys. So what I think has been a great feud here with Sanity, Strong, Dillinger, and Jose, I think it's been a pretty good feud. And so that continues on. I remind you that Cassius Ohno will take on Bobby Roode next week for the NXT Championship on NXT. In a pretty funny segment, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce look for a spot to put their Breakout Star of the Year award, and then they run into Ember Moon, who was training, and then they got scared by her and took off. I just love when these two girls are up to trouble. It's always funny.
They've got their characters down very well.
They do. Another video package for Aleister Black. So hopefully he's coming soon, and it's not a 17-week Emma promo.
No, I would say he'll debut after TakeOver.
Mm-hmm. Good guess. Ho Ho Loon from the Cruiserweight Classic. He took on Andrade Cien Almas. That didn't take long as Andrade Cien Almas hit the downward spiral. Thank you for coming.
Ho Ho Jobber.
NXT Women's Division. Billie Kay with Peyton Royce took on Ember Moon. Decent match, I thought, but obviously what we've been thinking all along, they're setting up Ember Moon and Asuka. Was Billie Kay, was that legit or kayfabe?
No, it was legit.
Well, sounds like she's doing okay though, right?
No, luckily she's okay now. But it was definitely a scary moment at those tapings. She was down for quite a while.
How long before they get rid of that Eclipse Stunner?
Well, the move was clean.
Just a freak thing?
I've seen it from both angles. I saw it from the opposite angle from a fan cam, and I saw it from the front tonight. The move was clean tonight. The only time she's ever fucked it up is she almost killed Daria in Toronto, but Daria was fine from it, luckily. But yeah, dude, it was just a free thing. And you know what? It's just, if you're executing the move right, then I can't tell you to stop using it. Just, accidents happen. And you can't, especially when the move is done correctly, there's nothing you can do about it.
Don't try this at home, kids. The Ely brothers were set to take on the Revival, but Authors of Pain said, no, we want to beat you up. And the Revival said, top guys out. William Regal announced officially that Ember Moon will take on Asuka at TakeOver Atlanta. Or Atlanta. Hello! Orlando. And then we had a sit-down interview with Tom Phillips and Cassius Ohno. What did you think about the little sit-down interview there, Matt?
I thought it was solid. I think it was good for people that don't know who she is. Or who he is.
Whoa!
My bad.
You're going to need a hero for that.
Yeah, I'm really tired tonight, guys. I'm sorry. I thought it was a good thing for people who don't know who he is. Give you some background in his last time with the company, and now that he's back and whatnot. I mean, his first match on NXT TV in 4 years, he's fighting for the title. The common fan's not going to know who he is. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a good thing to do those type of, the promo packages and the sit-down interviews. These things need to be done for good character building to make people, know who these superstars are. And I thought it was a good way to introduce Cassius Ohno back to the NXT WWE universe.
You know what would be great is if they put those episodes on the network.
I know. Why don't you tweet Triple H and ask him about it?
I got him on speed dial. I'll call him again. And then, following that, Tom Phillips interviews Bobby Roode. And what did you think of Bobby Roode's glorious mantle with a glorious picture of himself?
As soon as I saw that he had the freaking 8x10 framed on his table with him holding the championship, I lost it. I just lost, and I started laughing, and I was watching the show with a friend, and I said, I can't believe he's got a photo with himself in the championship in the background. That is fantastic.
No,
Bobby
Roode's not fantastic. That's glorious.
Yes, yeah, and yeah. I'm even wearing my glorious shirt right now. I am so tired. If anybody's listening to the show tonight and says Matt seems a little bit out of it, or Matt's stumbling over his own words a little bit, yeah, I got next to no sleep last night, and I'm powering through this show for you guys so we don't miss a week. And yeah, I'm a little bit foggy in the head at the moment. I apologize.
Andy thinks Cassius Ohno is a girl.
Dude, come on. And of all the mistakes you've made on this show, you're not going to let me live this one down? Come on, pal.
I might live it down now. I couldn't live it down in the moment, though. Great main event. The return of Shinsuke Nakamura's first match since NXT TakeOver San Antonio. And putting him with TJ Perkins was awesome. I thought TJ Perkins did a great job going out of the Cruiserweight division, taking on one of the top guys in NXT. Matt, do you agree?
No, yeah, I thought the match was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely shows that there's no reason that Triple H can't continue to use the 205 Live talent for the NXT roster, because I think it benefits them to work that brand and get the longer matches and the better exposure and whatnot. Keep it up.
Yep. And the obvious, at the end of the show, William Regal says that the winner next week between Cassius Ohno and Bobby Roode will face Nakamura at TakeOver.
I was shocked.
I was too.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what?
We gonna get anything funny here? Are we gonna maybe have a triple threat at Orlando, or?
Well, if they don't, what the hell are they doing with the loser? I think it kind of sucks. Two guys are in a title match, and a few weeks later, the winner's fighting Nakamura. I mean, what are you doing with the odd man out? Honestly, I'd rather have a triple threat, but I mean, who knows what they're gonna do?
You think Ono wins next week, or something fishy happens?
I don't know. I don't know.
It crossed my mind that Ono might win next week and set up a.
That'd be an awfully short reign for Rude.
Yeah, but I did not get to watch 205 Live. I was trying to catch up on everything else, but I did watch the Open with Austin Aries talking about what he did to Neville as he's now getting involved physically. And what did you think of Austin Aries on 205 Live after what he had done to Neville on Monday Night Raw?
Austin Aries has been great all week. And if you don't know, now you know.
Exactly. He's not on the A level, is he? He's on the A double level.
Oh my.
Interesting to note, though, a couple weeks after Mania, they've some obviously cards subject to change, but they have in there that Neville's taking on Rich Swann for the Cruiserweight Championship. So it'll be interesting if Neville does retain when Aries takes him on in what will probably be the title match at WrestleMania for the Cruiserweights. All right, Fastlane came and I don't know. This was
I don't even want to talk about it.
It was like it was Monday Night Raw, basically. I don't know. I thought Joe and
I thought the pay-per-view started off well, and then they did those back-to-back matches with Mahal and Rusev that went way too fucking long. Both of them just felt like they went forever. And I'm just like, if you had all this extra time, why didn't you just make Joe and Zayn longer? Or make the tag team title match longer? Or make the women's title match long? I mean, you had plenty of awesome matches that you wanted to see on the show. Why didn't you just extend their times? Instead of shoving that dreck down our throat right in the middle of the show. Like, any excitement that I had coming out of the first couple matches on the show were absolutely ruined by those back-to-back matches in the middle of the show.
Yeah, and I was on vacation, and so I didn't even watch Fastlane live. I actually watched Monday Night Raw before Fastlane because of all the glowing reviews I was hearing about Fastlane. That's how much we thought about it. Joe looking dominant as he should. Took out Sami Zayn in about 10 minutes. The Raw tag match went about 9 minutes, so yeah, you could have put some more time onto that. The big thing there was that Enzo was pinned but put his foot on the rope before the count of 3, but Gallows shoved it off before the ref could see it. We'll talk about that a little later on. Mick Foley in his office, and he had Stephanie McMahon on speakerphone. Like we said, Stephanie thought Fastlane was so important that she didn't have to be there. Nia Jax took on Sasha Banks. Did Nia impress you anymore?
No, dude. Freaking Sasha got a barely passable match out of her. And that says more about Sasha than it says about Nia Jax. And clearly, somebody in WWE management saw her tag match on Raw, saw what she did at Fastlane, and said, yeah, you know that Fatal 4-Way idea at Mania? We got to nip that in the ass. And to which I say, thank God, because it's one of the few correct decisions that WWE has made as far as this WrestleMania card is concerned right now.
So, Jinder Mahal and the newly haircutted handsome Rusev, they were done as a tag team, as it said in the pre-show. They brawled for a little while to determine who would have the first match between the two of them. Mahal kicked or kneed Rusev over the barricade, whatever. He took on Cesaro. I mean, that was the only thing that woke up the crowd was just the fact that it was Cesaro he was taking on, because the crowd loved Cesaro.
Yeah.
That was the longest 8 minutes of my life, though. That felt like a 30-minute match.
Yeah, but it wasn't good.
No. Big Show took on Rusev, a little better of a match, not too bad. Obviously, Rusev is on the lower end of the totem pole, and if you look at the projected card for after WrestleMania live shows, it looks like Rusev's going to get involved with Finn Balor, and yeah, he's not winning that feud either.
I think it's a placeholder feud. I don't really think that's the real Finn Balor feud after WrestleMania, because if it is, what a fucking waste.
Yeah, and Rusev needs to be main event. I mean, for fuck's sake, he needs to be main event.
It's a waste of Balor's return, and it's a waste of Rusev. It's just an absolute brutal waste.
The one very bright spot in the pay-per-view was the Cruiserweight Championship between Neville and Jack Gallagher. They got 11 minutes, and great effort with those guys. We both expected Neville to win this one, even though we both like Gallagher. But Neville has been doing such a good job of being the dominant king of the Cruiserweights that it made complete sense for Neville to retain the title there. But a good showing for the Cruiserweights on the pay-per-view, Matt, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There is a new WWE movie coming out with the Jetsons. If you want to watch that, go for it. Paul Heyman was interviewed by Charlie Caruso, teasing that Brock Lesnar could be at the pay-per-view, but he's not going to tell you. And then went on to say, well, if he does win, he's going to face his beast at WrestleMania. The New Day came out to pimp their New Day pops. Holy shit. Creative is just writing one turd after another for these guys after they broke the tag team title record.
They legitimately have no idea how to use them right now, and it's really sad.
They need to almost turn them heel.
Dude, they're just a fucking stable, dude. They can go after individual feuds and still be a cohesive group. It's like WWE has forgotten how to book a fucking stable.
I've said, hey, Big E's good enough to be in the upper mid-card or main event level. Kofi Kingston had a little taste of that with Randy Orton. He could probably handle it. Xavier Woods can easily be in the mid-card level for the U.S. title. I mean, yeah, you are completely right.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I'm hoping things change with New Day after WrestleMania.
I don't know if you'll agree with me on this one, Matt. I didn't hear any of your thoughts on this one, but I thought Reigns and Strowman was a great match between two powerhouses.
I liked the match. I hated the finish.
Yeah, okay.
I thought for Strowman to lose his first match in that fashion, clean as a whistle. I thought
a high risk move, and
to me, I thought it did a lot to hurt Strowman overall, and it very much reminded me of the last 10 years of WWE booking, where WWE would build up an undefeated monster and then feed them to John Cena.
I knew you were going there.
Well, do you disagree?
No,
because that's exactly what it felt like.
You're completely right. But at the same time, what do we have for Strowman at WrestleMania?
Nothing.
Which
is even worse.
Unless he gets involved in the Taker Reigns feud.
Look, they could either do the right thing to make that a triple threat, which I think they should. They really, really should. Or that poor guy's going to be stuck winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
But I mean, hello. What can you do for this young man's career but pin the Undertaker in a triple threat match against Roman Reigns? Hello. You know, I mean, he deserves it with the work he's done. I mean, him and Big Show tore down the house when we thought it was going to be a complete turd. You know?
Honestly, it was one of the best big man matches I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, and I am happy because you know, if you listen to this show, Matt's not the biggest fan of the Big Show. I love the Big Show. I love the face Big Show. You know, he's a funny guy, and you know, I just love his presence and in and out of the ring, and so it's good to see him in great shape and to put on a match like that, phenomenal. Because you know, he's probably retiring in 11 months when his contract's up in February. So, good stuff there, though, from Roman and Strowman. Hey, that rhymed.
You did it on purpose.
Raw Women's Championship. I don't know about the interference part of things, but I don't know. What did you think of the match, Matt?
To be honest, I'm so fucking sick and tired of the championship flip flopping.
You're happy
that I was actually happy that the predictability of the women's division was changed.
Does Bayley retain at Mania or Sasha win?
I would put it on Sasha and let her run as a heel.
Orlando will pop loud for it.
But I mean, I would not be surprised to see them let Bayley retain either. So it'll be very interesting what route they choose to go with that.
The great news is they gave the women 16 minutes for this match. So, and finally the fucking pay-per-view streak is over. So we don't have to talk about that anymore. Next up, the main event. Bell rings, and as soon as the bell rings, Chris Jericho's music hits, and the crowd went nuts. Owens turns around and eats a spear, jackhammer, and a 1-2-3. Goldberg is your new Universal Champion. Matt, we knew it was going to happen, but what were your thoughts on how it played out?
Exactly how I thought it was going to play out. I am not in the slightest bit surprised. So, you know, like Diaz said in the UFC fight, hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. It went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Zero surprise for me. I saw it coming a mile away. I saw the finish coming from a mile away. You didn't watch it live, so I was watching it live. And I was watching the time, and like the match didn't even start till they didn't even ring the bell till like a minute or two after 11. So I knew the freaking match was going to be, you know, as short as hell as it was. Yeah, it was just blah, just so much blah. And you know, anybody that listens to this show knows that I'm a big Goldberg fan. But damn, I didn't like this at all. I feel like it ruins his match with Lesnar at WrestleMania because it's so obvious now that we already know who's going to win. So it's just kind of like, what's the point now? Hey, I'd much rather would have had them facing each other again with no title on the line so the match could technically go either way, even though you're kind of positive that Lesnar's going to get his win back. But now with the title on the line, you know he's going to get his win back. So it's just, it was overall very disappointingly done.
So you have zero chance that Goldberg wins and retires on top?
Zero.
I think that's what's going to happen.
You think Goldberg's going to win again?
Yep.
You're out of your mind.
Yep. I think it's going to take a little longer than a minute 26, but I think he's going to win again.
No, we're going to get a match this time.
Yeah.
But he ain't winning.
Yeah, I think he's going to win, go out on top, retire on Raw the next day.
I think you're nuts.
If I had $1 for every time you said that.
If I had $1 for every time I was right and telling you that you were nuts.
Monday Night Raw from Chicago. I think there's a guy named CM Punk from there, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. But the great Chris Jericho starts off Monday Night Raw with a great Chicago ovation. As Jericho is now a face man. Drink it in. He's got a new jacket. Still wearing the scarf. Still's got the United States title, by the way.
30 days haven't been up yet.
Yeah, let's see if we do that with Lesnar if he wins the title, huh?
Damn well no, they won't.
Jericho mentions that Chicago is the birthplace of Y2J in 1999 when he went toe-to-toe with The Rock in one of the greatest debuts in WWE history. And he talked about how Owens betrayed him. And he took the knife and stabbed it in the back of Jericho. He twisted it in, man. Wanted to know why Owens did it. Finally, Owens comes out and says he's not going to give Jericho the answer that he's looking for. And it all led to eventually saying that Jericho wants Owens in a match at WrestleMania. And Owens says, only if it is for your title, so I can take away your title like you helped get mine taken away from me. And Jericho thought about it for all of a nanosecond before he said, agreed. So for the United States title at WrestleMania will be Owens and Chris Jericho. I'm excited for that one for sure. Owens came down to brawl with Jericho, and they brawled for a little bit before Samoa Joe came in and attacked Chris Jericho. But then Sami Zayn came out with a chair to even up the odds, and he cracked both Joe and Owens with a chair. Jericho came back in and also with a chair and did his own little bit of damage. And I thought, well, Teddy Long's going to come out here and make a tag match player. But they kind of swerved us on that. Kevin Owens took on Sami Zayn right away, but that one only went about 5 minutes. And then the main event is going to be Chris Jericho. Well, not the main event, but it should have been the main event. Chris Jericho and Samoa Joe. First time they've ever faced off, Matt?
To my knowledge, yeah.
The great Austin Aries showed up and said he wants his package shown again, so they showed his large package. As Rich Swann took on Neville. And amazingly, they gave him 14 minutes. That was pretty good. Of course, it was for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yeah, I'm glad they gave it time. And they knew in front of the Chicago crowd, they better.
Exactly. I know a couple douchebags tried to start a CM Punk chant during that match. They got shut down pretty quick, thankfully. But yeah, the Rings of Saturn applied, and Rich Swann taps out. But 14 minutes, great match. And also made Neville look like a badass. I mean, it's 24 hours after defending it against Jack Gallagher. After the match, Neville was interviewed by Austin Aries on his thoughts of the last 24 hours with his 2 wins, as Chicago loudly chanted for Austin Aries. And Neville said, "Look at me now," to all the doubters, and he talked about how he laid waste to all the pretenders, and nobody on 205 can hold a candle to the king of the cruiserweights. And Aries asked, "Nobody?" And that's when another Austin Aries chant started up. And Aries points out, well, the WWE Universe kind of disagrees with you. And Neville thought he was delusional if he thinks he is even close to Neville's level. And Neville told him to go back to the announcer desk and entertain the universe. And threatened that he might break his orbital socket again if he doesn't. That prompted Aries to take off his sunglasses and said he's just here to do his job. And he had one more question, but it was more of a statement. And then Austin Aries clocks Neville with the microphone and then hits the discus forearm. And Chicago went nuts. Matt, amazing segment, right?
Yeah, it was great.
Goldberg comes out to a chorus of boos. Chicago's not happy that he's holding the championship. Gee, I wonder why. You think there are going to be a lot of boos in Orlando, Matt?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's going to be a very interesting crowd reaction in Orlando.
Paul Heyman came out to, of course, talk about what's going to happen at WrestleMania. Lesnar came, got into Goldberg's face. Lesnar wanted to shake Goldberg's hand and congratulating him on becoming the Universal Champion. But instead he takes an F5. It's kind of funny that Goldberg forgot to let go of his title when he got put on Brock's shoulders. So he's still here clutching the title. He's like, "No, it's mine. You can't take it."
He went and clutched the title after he got hit with it too. He loves that red title, man.
And Vince is like, "You're gonna give it to Brock." Do you like the Goldberg and Lesnar segment, man?
I thought it was the smartest way it could have been booked in front of that crowd. Mm-hmm. Because there was no way they were going to get the big babyface reaction for Goldberg in Chicago that they wanted.
No.
So to bring out Lesnar and do the F5 was the smartest thing they could have done for that crowd. And honestly, if WWE booked more of their shows like they booked for the Chicago crowd, we would have a much better overall product on a weekly basis.
Yeah, exactly. For the Raw Tag Team Championships, it was supposed to be Enzo Amore and Big Cass against Anderson and Gallows due to what happened at Fastlane. But Cesaro and Sheamus came out, and 7 minutes into the match, disqualification. So obviously we're going to get a triple threat match with those guys at Mania. So we think. Mick Foley says that Cass and Enzo are going to take on Sheamus and Cesaro. The winner gets Gallows and Anderson at Mania. I think it's heading towards a triple threat match, Matt. Do you think that's going that way, or do you think it's going to be Cass and Enzo taking on the club again?
I think a triple threat makes more sense. But yeah, we'll see where it goes next week.
And it's great that they've kept Sheamus and Cesaro together too. I mean, we thought, they're going to do the lazy thing and just write them off into the sunset, but they've actually kept them as a team, and it's post holding the tag titles. I think it's been good for Cesaro and Sheamus. So, they did a great video tribute for Ravishing Rick Rude. Then we got some more cruiserweight action, but only 2 minutes, as Akira Tozawa dropped that German suplex on Daivari out of nowhere. And Tozawa calls out Brian Kendrick after the match and tells him to face him right now. Kendrick said that he'll answer him on 205 Live, and then provided him with life lesson number 5, which was be careful what you wish for. Did they have a match on 205 Live, Matt?
No.
Probably going to be
they had a storyline on 205 Live to advance their feud, but the two of them did not wrestle on 205 Live.
Probably a WrestleMania pre-show.
Yeah, you could say yeah, but it seems to be looking likely.
The continuous creative shit for the New Day continued as they brought out their ice cream cart and then took on the Shining Stars. Yippee. This is March's Women's History Month, and so they honored the contributions that Trish and Lita did for the WWE. Pretty cool. Next up is the women's champion Bayley. They called her win controversial because of the assist from Sasha Banks, and Bayley was going to announce who she's going to face at WrestleMania. Of course, Sasha Banks comes out, and then Charlotte comes out with Dana Brooke, and in the end, well, furthering the demise of Mick Foley very soon, Stephanie McMahon comes out and overthrows Mick Foley and says that there's going to be that Bayley is going to take on Sasha Banks right now, and if Sasha can beat her, she will be added to the WrestleMania match because Charlotte deserves to already be in that WrestleMania match. So then
which is so stupid because she lost already and she doesn't deserve shit.
Yeah.
Just terrible booking. The logic of this,
Bayley, right?
the logic of this fucking company is mind-bogglingly bad. It just look no less than 5 years ago. The road to WrestleMania was the greatest time of the year to be a WWE fan, and right now, if you're a hardcore wrestling fan, the road to WrestleMania is without a shadow of a doubt the worst time of year to be a WWE fan, and it really fucking sucks.
Then the best time to be a WWE fan is the Raw after WrestleMania.
As I would like to call the apology.
Bayley Sasha Banks, though, great 13-minute match on Raw. And Sasha made Bayley tap out with a Banks statement, so she is in the match, and it's a triple threat, and as Matt said, minus Nia Jax.
Hallelujah.
Later in the show, they said that Strowman and Reigns will be there, and Roman Reigns talked to Charlie Caruso and said that he'll find him in the middle of the ring at the end of the night, and 500,000 people grab their remotes.
Look, you can't make that shit up, dude.
They show Seth Rollins working hard to rehab to be ready for WrestleMania. They talked to Triple H via satellite, and so Triple H didn't cut a promo. Then, next up, Chris Jericho, Samoa Joe. Only went 5 minutes. That kind of sucked. But Jericho did, he tapped out in the Coquina Clutch, but did land a code breaker post-match.
He didn't tap out. He was counted out.
Or counted out. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's been a long week for me, too. Trying to readjust. But, yeah, Joe put the Coquina Clutch on Jericho outside of the ring, and he was counted out. Then we got the Braun Strowman confrontation with Roman Reigns, and Strowman said that Reigns got lucky last night. Said Reigns didn't want to have a match, so he wanted Reigns to come out here like a man, so Strowman could beat the shit out of him. Reigns' music started to play, but then we heard the gong. And there was the dead man making his return. Chicago loved the stare down between Strowman and The Undertaker, even started a holy shit chant. But Strowman said, yeah, you're the man. And he left the ring. Crowd started booing. And because they wanted to see Strowman and Taker go at it. I think, Matt, that Chicago reaction might push this into a triple threat match.
I hope so.
I might be hopeful at this, but that might, I think. Obviously, Reigns and Strowman's not over. Obviously, Taker's not going to be there every week leading up to WrestleMania, but Strowman and Reigns are going to be. So I think it's going to be a triple threat match.
Well, like I said, it should be a triple threat match. Will it be a triple threat match? I don't know.
Roman Reigns said it's his yard now, and then got chokeslammed, and then Chicago went wild. What did you think of the end of the show there with Taker and Roman Reigns?
It was fine. I wish Braun would have been more involved with it, but other than that, I mean, it was a fine setup for what it was. As the push of Roman Reigns continues to get shoved down our throats. Here's the thing. I feel by setting this match up, especially if it's a one-on-one match, they've pretty much. This is them pretty much telling the crowd that we've given up on Roman Reigns as a babyface, because there's no way in hell that anybody's going to cheer for Roman Reigns against The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
And on top of that, there's no respect. Roman Reigns is talking shit to The Undertaker.
Yeah, to me, it's just it's WWE officially giving up the ghost. They've realized that they can't win with a face Roman Reigns, and this is the beginning of his heel turn. So, I mean, if you want to look at it, look for a positive in all of this, that's probably the best thing I can offer you right now.
Will you agree it was a better than average Raw, though?
No, Raw was good. And the thing was, Raw was good because Raw was in Chicago, and they knew that they couldn't put on a bad show there like they did Fastlane, or they would have gotten booted out of the damn building.
Next week's in Detroit. Detroit's usually pretty good too, right?
Detroit is where Shane McMahon returned last year. So I would think
thunderous.
That was a very loud crowd, and that is a crowd that is going to want a good show. I think they held the return of Finn Balor for Detroit for that reason, and I think we see the return of Finn Balor this Monday night on Raw.
What's he do at Mania?
I still think he's going to face Joe.
Oh, makes sense too. They had a great.
And I think that and Neville and Austin Aries will be my two favorite matches booked for the show.
I cannot wait for the Aries Neville match. Last week's Smackdown, Miz TV with John Cena. I completely loved it. I don't think neither one of us were too excited at the prospects of this as a tag match outside of seeing Maurice in the ring again. John Cena sure as hell wasn't excited. He even mentioned last week on SmackDown about The Undertaker and how poor John Cena doesn't get to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. But I thought the promo to kick off last week's SmackDown with John Cena and The Miz was awesome. What did you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a hot feud for sure. I would be more excited about it if I thought Maurice and Miz had a snowball's chance in hell of winning. But it's pretty much I would say it's 99.9% likely that Cena and Nikki are winning this match. And like I said on Twitter last night during SmackDown, I am calling by the way that they're running the storyline that after Cena and Nikki wins, that Cena gets his WrestleMania moment with Nikki and proposes to Nikki in the middle of the ring.
I fully agree. Because that's why they're throwing out the whole Miz throughout the contract thing, you know.
Yep. And we're married and you'll never be. Like, I feel like all these drop-ins of that to me say that Cena's going to propose after the match is done.
Miz has been on fire since Maurice has come back. The feud has gotten personal in a hurry, and it's great. All guys did great. Guys and ladies did great on that opening segment last week. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Speaking of thoroughly enjoying it, I enjoyed the 2 out of 3 falls match with Mickie James and Becky Lynch. I thought that was very well done. AJ Styles and Luke Harper, a great match. You know, Luke Harper is done well on his own. It's very cool to see the crowd take to him, and him and AJ Styles had a good 13-minute match. AJ Styles now, at the time, the new number 1 contender to face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, or so we thought. The end of the show. This is probably, I think, where Matt and I have a little difference of opinion. Obviously, Bray Wyatt was there for his invocation, but then all of a sudden, Randy Orton appeared on the screen, and it appeared he was at the Wyatt family compound, and it appears he was in the shack that is above where Sister Abigail is buried, and Randy Orton burned it to the ground. I thought it was a great segment, Matt. You disagreed, right?
To bury this entire fucking segment.
What's that?
I'd like to bury this entire fucking segment.
Why didn't you like it?
It fucking sucked. That's why I didn't like it.
Why did it suck?
Dude, first off, it's completely unrealistic. Like, you really needed to get to this point to re-challenge for the title. I hate the fact that Randy Orton gives up his championship match and then 2 weeks later burns down the stupid compound and takes it back. And to me, I'm sorry, once in logic storyline wise, once you gave up your match, you're done. You gave it up. And honestly, if you want to look back on WWE history, guess who should be challenging for the main title at WrestleMania now? Love him or hate him, it should be Roman Reigns. Because in 1999, when Vince McMahon won the Royal Rumble, and he forfeited his win to go to WrestleMania.
He didn't want to face The Rock?
Whoever. Yeah, I think it was The Rock. And the storyline came out of that the WWE rulebook stated that if the winner of the Royal Rumble forfeited his victory, that the person that would then take his place would be the runner-up for the Royal Rumble. So, honestly, the second Randy Orton gave up his title shot 2 weeks ago, Roman Reigns should have been getting the Universal title shot at WrestleMania. But, of course, we're all supposed to ignore WWE history because, heaven forbid, if anybody follows the product.
Then we would have got the match I wanted with Reigns and Goldberg.
I actually would have liked that.
Yeah, but Orton had to fight his way back into it too. I mean, he
but every motherfucker knew he was going to win.
Yeah, but
it wasn't even good.
The GM and the commish made the decision.
Garbage. It was garbage. It was all garbage, and you know it was garbage. Garbage.
I loved the segment though. I thought it was different and well done.
Garbage.
Well done. Which, of course, leads us to the beginning of Smackdown this week, where Shane and Daniel Bryan discuss what they're going to do about the main event main event. We know who's going last at WrestleMania. But, so, they put together Randy Orton versus AJ Styles for the winner, finally, is going to the main event at WrestleMania to take on Bray Wyatt. After that opening segment, AJ Styles found Shane and Daniel Bryan and was saying he's trying to get in touch with them all weekend, but he said he's tired of this anti-AJ conspiracy. But he says he's going to make the best out of a bad situation and take out Randy Orton. But of course, the anti-AJ conspiracy continues our fears that it's going to be AJ and Shane at Mania.
It's a lock.
Rumored, yeah. I'm like, there's a little hope, like a 100% of a chance of hope that maybe Shane has someone fight his battle for him, and it's Nakamura. But we aren't that lucky, are we, man?
It ain't gonna fucking happen.
James Ellsworth in leopard tights is in the ring. Yikes. He was bragging about beating AJ Styles 3 times and noted how long it took Cena to finally beat AJ Styles. Then Ellsworth introduced his friend that's a girl, Carmella. I love JBL gets annoying a lot of times, but I love his comments on Ellsworth, especially the interspecies match. That made me crack up. John Cena, Nikki Bella. Before the match started off, Miz and Maurice made their entrance, and that distracted Nikki, who then walked into a super kick from Carmella. And then they go to break 20 seconds into the match. Hey, thanks. That's cool. The match overall went 7 minutes. Some unintentional comedy of how awkward Nikki and John are in the ring together. But they did a double 5-knuckle shuffle. And then Nikki showed John how to do an STF. Actually, I think John was trying to take it easy on Ellsworth with that STF. He didn't want to kill the person.
I don't know, it just looked like his average wussy STF to
me. Post-match,
I could break out of John Cena's STF. I don't think I could break out of Nikki's. And I'm man enough to admit that. But I am 100% certain I can break out of John's.
Oh, Gerd.
Just dude, I'm just speaking truth.
After the match, Miz and Maurice pull Nikki and John out of the ring, and they beat up the couple. And then Miz gets in the ring and cuts another great promo. He says he loves his wife because he spends so much time with her. He goes, when you love somebody, you don't make someone sign a contract like Cena did with Nikki Bella. I think it was 75 pages too, wasn't it?
I don't know how many pages it was.
Then Miz broke down the fourth wall a little bit, saying Cena's relationship with Nikki was not allowed to be talked about on WWE television for the longest time.
Which is, and look, everything Miz is saying is 100% truth.
It is, yeah. He says that Nikki and John their relationship's plastic, fake, and then Maurice calls Nikki a bitch and throws the microphone. Great segment. Really enjoying this feud a lot more than I thought I would. Renee Young interviews Randy Orton. And Orton said, if he's capable of doing something like burning down the Wyatt family compound, then what does he have in store for AJ Styles? Orton says nobody will stop him from getting to Wyatt. And he suggested if he were AJ Styles, he would be afraid, and says AJ should just run. Kurt Hawkins called out Dean Ambrose, and as JBL said, that wasn't smart. And Ambrose came out, and Hawkins went after him and ate a clothesline. And Ronaldo called him Chad Hawkins after that, and I think Kurt probably thought he was Chad after that clothesline. He then called out Baron Corbin, who says, "I don't answer to anybody. I don't answer to anybody that's calling me out." And Ambrose said, "Well, I'm going to come find you then." They interview Mojo Rawley backstage, and he announces that
he's the first person in the "I Have Nothing for You" Battle Royal.
Yeah, they should rename it that. He noted that his good friend Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, and that lasted all of 24 fucking hours. He said it was great, but it wasn't his moment, and he's officially entering the "I Got Nothing for You" Battle Royal. Then Dolph Ziggler shows up and says, "Hey, I've never had a singles match at WrestleMania, and I'm going to continue that streak."
He didn't say that.
He didn't?
He's totally in the fucking giant battle royal too.
Yeah, he's never had a singles match at WrestleMania. Ambrose
I don't believe you.
Look it up, dude. Look it up. Ambrose looking for Corbin. Corbin was holding a security guard hostage, tossed him into Ambrose, and then attacks Ambrose with a pipe. And told Dean, "Hey, you found me." And Ambrose goes, "All right, good talk." I thought that was kind of funny. And then Corbin pins Ambrose under a forklift, and everybody acted like Ambrose was about to die. That was a little overdrawn, the reactions to him being under a forklift. But other than that, good segment.
You loved it.
Good. And a good talk. Good talk.
You thought it was the best thing ever.
Nah. Blistertation from Alexa Bliss.
Awful.
She's gonna... Didn't like it?
No, I hated the entire segment. Honestly, I thought this was one of the worst Smackdowns that they've put on since their debut, SmackDown Live over the summer. I really did not like this episode at all.
What didn't you like about the promo?
It just seemed really corny and over the top. And if Alexa was not defending her title against any of the people standing in the ring, who the fuck was she going to announce that she was going to be wanting to be facing at Mania? Because there's really nobody left. So,
Hornswoggle.
Oh my God! Will you stop?
Santina,
you.
Dan O'Brien showed up and said that he was listening to the Blistertation and he would give her an F. And says, well, if you are the best in the division, you're going to go defend your title against every available woman on the SmackDown roster. Which we don't know what that's going to be yet, but probably a Battle Royal, one assumes, Matt?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking it's a Battle Royal.
It came out that the WWE is leaving this title match open-ended because there is hope that Naomi actually may be back in time for Mania, and also Eva Marie may be back in time for Mania.
I hope so.
And also, of course,
Did you see my Eva Marie tweet on Tuesday night?
I did not.
I said it's okay, everyone, and I added Eva Marie as is coming back to save WrestleMania. Everything will be okay.
Yes. And fully expect Victoria and Kelly to be in the
Yep. I was wondering this entire time how they were gonna fit in to the show, and now it's so very obvious what they're doing now. So,
and Daniel Bryan did his best Teddy Long imitation and made a tag match playa. But Natalya doesn't want to turn face as she turned on Becky Lynch, and there you go. Mickey was all set to pin Becky Lynch after Natalya laid her out, but then Bliss tags herself in and covers, and James didn't look too happy about that, and then afterwards gave Bliss a Mick kick. And I think Mickie James is probably going to walk out of WrestleMania the women's champ, Matt.
I think Naomi gets it back if she's healthy.
That would be amazing.
Honestly, I give it to Eva Marie. Fuck everybody.
There you go.
I totally do. I totally give it to Eva Marie.
I wouldn't hate it.
I think it would be hilarious. And she just comes up with excuses every week about why she can't defend the title.
Some of them smart marks, his head will explode.
Oh, dude, it would be hysterical.
It would. They showed Austin Aries, the great Austin Aries, talking about how he's going to kick off 205 Live. And then it's time for the main event, AJ Styles, Randy Orton. I thought it was a great main event. I thought it was amazing. I love the psychology, working on the leg. I thoroughly enjoyed the main event, Matt. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you didn't enjoy it because of the result.
I mean, I liked the match, but I mean, I knew the result from a mile away, so it kind of hindered my enjoyment of the match overall, because I was just watching the match, waiting for Styles to lose, pretty much. So, yeah, I just like the whole show. I just left a bad taste in my mouth. It was easily the least enjoyed episode of SmackDown that I've had since their debut episode over the summer.
Yeah, I didn't hate it that much. I thought it was a decent show. I thought the main event was great. I didn't hate the women's segment that much. And I like the question marks for the title match, for the women's title match, because it enables, like I said, it enables a Naomi to possibly get in there and an Eva Marie if she's ready to come back. Then after SmackDown ended, they showed YouTube showed a video. Did they air this on 205 Live as well?
They aired what?
The AJ and Shane thing.
No, they aired it on Talking Smack.
Oh, okay.
They hyped it on 205 Live to stay tuned for Talking Smack after, and they aired it on Talking Smack.
And as you can see by the freeze frame, it looks like Shane McMahon is ready for a fight. So yeah, our fears are probably going to come true there. But AJ Styles stormed the gorilla position after SmackDown went off the air and went straight for Shane McMahon. And Road Dogg and Michael Hayes got in between them. Michael Cole looked like he was about ready to shit his pants. But a pretty cool segment, because they don't do too many segments in that part of the arena, with everybody there. So I thought that was really cool.
It also proves that Vince doesn't come to SmackDown on Tuesdays.
And Michael Hayes loves purple.
Oh my god, he looked like such a dork.
Oh my lord. But I thought it was pretty cool what they did there. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna enjoy Shane and AJ, because hey, it's gotta have AJ. An AJ match doesn't suck. I just think AJ deserves better for WrestleMania. I think he deserves a title shot.
Like I've said before, and I stand by this. After seeing Roman Reigns almost kill Shane McMahon in Survivor Series, I never wanted to see Shane McMahon in the ring again. And it's no different than I feel no different. Like, it wouldn't have mattered who Shane would have been booked up against at this show. I didn't want to see it. Like, I just think it's very ill-advised on his part to be stepping in the ring at his age with his wife and his kids, taking unnecessary risks on his body.
Yeah, I fully agree. Some late news here. Ring of Honor television taping for this Saturday, March 11th. For the first time ever in Ring of Honor, the Hardys and the Briscoes are going to go at it. So that very sweet. Very sweet for the taping after 15th anniversary. That's going to do it for this edition of Lost in the Midcard. Thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. Make sure you subscribe, and if you already have, tell your friends to do so, and tell their friends to tell their friends. That way you know every time a new episode comes your way every Thursday and most Mondays after a WWE pay-per-view. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, and those links are all in our notes section of Facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. Catch us on the Twitter at LATMC Podcast. Matt's on there at Raw Showtime, and I'm on there at JB Huskers. And before we ride off on the ride off into that sunset, Matt, and kind of back to a normal schedule as we prepare for WrestleMania, give us your final thoughts.
I really hope the build-up for WrestleMania is better than what the card looks like right now. Because right now, I am not impressed. And if Bret Hart were here, I'm pretty sure he'd give it a 4 out of 10.
Maybe a 0.4 out of 10. We'll up it. For Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard, and we will catch you next week.